Wonderful. Welcome back. This is day 17. If you look on if you are actually following your book, you're going to find there's only one more page left. So day 17, this is an exciting time. You know, what I've discovered, that as I was working through my MAP goals and setting them, I discovered that every single goal that I set initially had a money element. And when I began to talk to people and people began to use MAP4LIFE, I discovered that the greatest goal that most people had was financial freedom. Just being able to do the things that they wanted to do. And all they told me is if you're wanting financial freedom, it means you're in financial slavery. That's the obvious answer, which means that the majority of people have some level of debt in their life, or they've purchased things to make themselves look good and to project an image of someone they're not, and they become enslaved by that idea, and for the rest of their life they are enslaved to that. So I would challenge you to take a careful look at this good plan. I call it a good plan because good stands for get out of debt. And man, if you're out of debt, that's going to be great. But don't set get out of debt as your goal, because if you say get out of debt, every time you say debt, it reinforces the habits that you have that got you into debt. So when you're working on a get out of debt plan, one of the things that you've got to realize is you've got to begin to change your habits. And one of those habits is spending more than you earn. Stop spending so much and you'll be amazed at what happens. You begin to create wealth. So in this process of the get out of debt plan, the first thing you need to do is just to record all the debt that you have. Very simple. Put it all down on paper. See for yourself what it is that you owe. In fact, when you do this process, you're going to discover for the first time how much debt is actually costing you. You know that your house, you might end up paying for 3 houses, yet you only get one to live in, simply because you went and bought it, and you bought the most expensive house you could afford a payment on. Go and take a look and see what your car is costing you. You might be paying for 1.5 or 2 cars when you only get one to drive. And by the time you finish paying for it, if you live on the coast, it'll have air conditioning, free of charge. It'll all be rusted away. So make sure that you go and make a list of this, talk to the people who you're indebted to, get the information you need, and understand the size of your debt. Then very simply, commit yourself to a good payment. A good payment, a get out of debt payment. And that, I suggest, is about 10 to 15% of how much you're already paying on your debt. Now, 10 to 15% of the amount that you're already paying every month to service your debt is probably going to be between 2% and 6% of your actual monthly income. That means that you can go and cut out some of those things that you spend money on unnecessarily, cut them out, get rid of them, and you will find that money. And then focus on the item that you owe the least on, and work through the process. Use the example that I've shown you, and it's going to help you to get through. You will be amazed at how much money you can save. In fact, the 30 years that it's going to, or the 20 years that it's going to take you to pay off your house anyway, you're going to be able to pay it off in 7 years if you use this plan. And the rest of those 13 years, you're going to be able to create wealth for you and your family for the future. I challenge you to use this because it's going to transform your life. It's going to give you financial freedom.